And welcome back to the Nutrimedical Report. We have Ron Patterson from LUMEN PHOTON, and of course, LUMEN's one of our main technologies. In fact, when I have a problem area, I zap on my LUMEN PHOTON machine. In fact, I have it right here at my desk. By my studio, I call it, and for my kids when they were younger, I call it Dexter's Lab, because I have so many weird and wonderful technologies here. Some are in development, and some I have, everything from my hyperbaric chamber. But my LUMEN's sitting right on my desk, right beside me here in one of my drawers, so I slap it on an area if I have been exercising, like I get out for a couple minutes on my, I call Vibra Fit system, which is, tension bands and my very, very powerful vibrational platform machine. And if I have a problem area, then bam. In fact, we talked about this earlier. There was a gentleman on the first hour that called in and left a message from Michelle about having probably sciatica caused by some kind of trauma or fall. And what he should do is put it on setting number 7 until the inflammation settles, and then to heal, NICO, N-I-C-O setting. You can also play around with other settings like setting number 3 and 4 to stimulate healing, but usually we recommend the NICO combination as a good combination of frequencies. But to turn off inflammation, setting number 7. The nice thing is this is not just good for humans, it's good for little budgie birds, to dogs, cats, horses, any animal, even big elephants. And the neat thing is it's the frequency of life. In fact, if I was going to put a tagline below LUMEN PHOTON, I'd call it life frequency therapy. It's all the biological molecules vibrating in a water solution, because it's an informational superconductor, is a life frequency. And in fact, if you're looking for the frequency, not just of water, deep space, to look at planets that might be Earth inhabitable or similar in the Goldilocks zone of the star systems out there in deep space, 260 billion stars in our galaxy, you'd be looking for basically the frequency of life, which is not only water, but also the frequency of infrared light in the frequency of biological molecules, if you could actually discern it down to that fine level with, say, a space-based telescope. Kind of interesting. And so in other words, you wouldn't just look for water, you'd look for the frequency of life molecules present in that water. And that would be infrared light. Now, when you do this, what you're increasing is what's called the signal-to-noise ratio. So you increase the signal your body has to stimulate healing, to express your genetics, to turn off, to release toxins, and to open up and stimulate nitric oxide. In fact, if you put this over somebody's kidneys and they have an elevated C-reactive protein and nitric oxide deficiency, which is tied with hypertension and vascular problems, put it over their kidneys and their C-reactive protein. This is a controlled study that's already been proven now and published. It will drop the C-reactive protein dramatically. If you're trying to deal with somebody who's had concussion injury, like there's been a lot of big fights the last few weeks in Las Vegas, of course, jamming up traffic. In fact, I just found out that one of the trips back to L.A. from Las Vegas was 13 hours. Wouldn't want to do that.
Wow.
But if you're trying to restore your brain function after, let's say, a traumatic injury, let's say in football, soccer, or a contact pugilatory sport like boxing or mixed martial arts, you want to slap a LUMEN on your head if you're getting balding, if you've got sinus problems, if you've got NICO or cavitations around your teeth, if you've got osteomyelitis of the bone, if you've got TMJ problems, if you've got spinal nerve root compression and inflammation of the dural nerve sleeve causing swelling or as it exits the neural foramen, LUMEN PHOTON. And I tell you, it's so simple to use this along with our Nutrimeds to get maximum healing. And of course, for inflammation, Inflamex, cell defense, phospholipids to restore the tissues, Omega Supreme Krill, and Omega Cod Liver Liquid, Nutrifos, and Neurogen. LUMEN is just amazing. In fact, one of the things we discovered, and I'm going to be posting it up in over the weekend, is my cellulite formula. And if you have an area of cellulite on your body, you slap the cellulite on the tissue on your problem area. Let's say women, if you've got 10 pounds, it just won't go off your thighs or something, and slap on the LUMEN, and between the combination of the fancy stuff that I put in this cellulite formula, which you can mix yourself from our Nutrimeds, in a jar and apply it to your body 3 or 4 times a day, and you put the LUMEN on, guess what? Bye-bye cellulite. That's another discovery I made, which is this burns off fat. It burns off fluid. It mobilizes the metabolism, which is shut off in fatty tissue, where you get accumulated areas of fluid and fat accumulation in bad spots you don't like. And that's kind of an interesting discovery, isn't it?
Oh yeah. This is so different because what your supplements and our lights, they work together. And
they do. In fact, Dr. Bob Dennis, who we get in the last segment about the micropulse from NASA, and he has a pulse Schumann resonance frequency, and I often use both together, the micropulse and lumen. The thing is, they both work on two different aspects of the energetic of the plasma physics of tissue.
Yeah.
And what I'm putting together, by the way, in the book, Dr. U, will change medicine and biology, not just human biology, but all biology forever on planet Earth. It will change the perspective of anybody doing any biological system, whether you're a marine bacteriologist, a plant or animal, veterinarian, you're dealing with forest systems, if you want to call geoengineering of the planetary systems to cause stability of without massive species die-off, if you're talking about trying to restore human health and getting to zero senescence, this book will start to explain the first steps on what I call the kindergarten level, so people will basically understand the basics that the entire paradigms that they've been taught before are incorrect. And when we use things like energetic technology like Lumen, Photon, and Micropulse, and X-Vitalizer, which is our other technology, the most portable of these is the Lumen, Photon, and Micropulse, because a small battery pack, and you can carry the Lumen on your car. You plug it into a cigarette lighter, you can put it in a battery pack and carry it on your back or slap it on an area. And see if you've got chronic back pain, buttock pain, wrist pain, carpal tunnel syndrome, you can have it right at your desk there and take rest breaks. Just put your wrist right over the Lumen Photon pad in between using your computer, and bye-bye carpal tunnel syndrome. I mean, what could be better? I mean, and it's not even painful. You're not having somebody do deep tissue massage or chiropractic.
Not even painful. Yeah.
It's not even painful. I mean, a lot of people...
Well. We have a really good testimonial from a doctor named Sherry Rogers. This goes back about 9 years probably anyway. But anyway, we gave her one for evaluation. This is real short. But she's a medical doctor who's retired. But we gave her, gave her one at a conference where doctors were talking about and looking at new things, and she agreed to take one home. Long story short, she was very skeptical about this being able to do anything. They just use LEDs, and she thought she was laughing. Cold lasers everybody else had were the king of the road. This was all those years back.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, so she really badly in the morning when she got up, and she reached into her grill and grabbed it. I think it was 400 degrees, and it burned her hand badly, severe burn. Healed in 4 hours. She had got the unit out of the when we gave her for evaluation. She used this thing for 4 hours, and she literally watched this hand, which was was 450 degrees on the handle, and it burned it down to the skin. It completely healed in 4 hours.
Here's the reason for that. Back in Georgia, back in the late 1980s, I was working in a trauma burn unit, and I learned that you only get as much damage demarcation as the cytokines that your body releases. And if you can turn those cytokines off, and believe it or not, there's a few technologies we have. Lumen is one of them. That if you have a skin burn from sunlight or a thermal burn, and it's not completely fried right down to the bone, but even if it is, it'll speed up the healing. You can use the following. Topically, you can put on Nutridine, which we've even had in Africa, will regenerate right from the bone. Silver 100 stimulates the stem cells, but the most powerful stimuli for stem cell regeneration is Lumen and Micropulse. And Lumen, well, it's amazing. It actually turns off the cytokines in your skin. So if you're able to actually, let's say, create a visual image or an imaging technology, what you could visually in your imagination visualize is that the release of local inflammatory molecules like tumor necrosis factor alpha, IL-6, etc., all the inflammatory cytokines are shut off. So in other words, the inflammatory process that causes the damage is turned off. So it's not just the thermal insult, it's your body's response, cellular response, that creates most of the damage. Interesting, hey?
Yes, yeah.
And it turns it off, which is cool. So if you get a sunburn, slap the Lumen pad on the ears. Oh, my back's hurting, dear. What's going on? Slap the Lumen pad on that area. Move to the next area. 20 minutes. All of a sudden, you slap on our curcumin cream to kind of turn off the inflammatory reaction, and the body says, I can do this. I can go to sleep tonight. I'm not going to be frying all night. Get a Lumen pad. We have them always available here at Nutrimedical. Go to the Nutrimedical Associates hyperlink there or our products page, and we have some fantastic devices. Restore your vision, turn off inflammation, heal your tissues, and detox. Well, all without any discomfort. Amazing.
For those who you order...
And we're trying to connect to Emil DeToffel from SAMF, and we're going to keep Ron over. Ron, you mentioned a couple things that you're really good to provide support. By the way, if you're searching around, you're going to find that our Nutrimed price for the Lumen pads are better than, I think there's a couple of other suppliers, but we're still better than anybody here or Europe or anywhere, and we will ship worldwide. So you need to know that the products are literally, you can't beat a better price for Lumen pads, and you provide good support too, Ron. If they want to contact you, what's the number to contact to ask questions about how to use the pads?
Well, if you go to the website for Lumen Photon, Lumen Photon, that's just lumenphoton.com. We'll have that information for contact. Or the telephone number here is 828-863-4834.
Right, and we even sell it because we give them a discount off the price. We even sell it lower than you sell it, right?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. So, and that's what we're trying to always do with our customers. And most of the time, in fact, even all the consults, I don't charge. But when I get somebody that sends me like 4 pages, 10 pages, medical records, scanned X-rays, I'm going to charge my time. I'm getting so swamped you would not believe it. And I'm doing more and more radio, more work on my books. I just, I have to narrow it down to say, you need to fill in these history forms like my consult form for me to do a proper consult, not just a slip, bang, boom, here, try 1, 2, 3 things, and then you're going to be cured. No, I don't want my reputation to be affected by you not getting positive effects, which is why when we tell you how to use a Lumen pad, so for example, if you're putting on Nico or setting number 3 instead of putting it on 7 when you get inflammation, you're going to make things more inflamed if you're in the early inflammatory phase, which is actually the early phase of healing. There is a normal process of healing, and the inflammatory phase is usually very short acting before the stem cells migrate in. You start producing collagen, extracellular matrix, and the stem cells differentiate. When it's prolonged, it's not a physiological situation. The tissues are basically being told chemically and neurologically, splint this tissue, spasm the muscles, constrict the blood vessels, and scar everything down because the tissues are damaged and we don't want it to tear or break. And that's why I'm using Lumen pads. It's quite amazing. I want to talk about some of the other things that will go with Lumen. And let's say you have a sick doggy, and the dog has osteoporosis, or you have osteoporosis, osteopenia.
Yes.
One of the things that I tell people is use a Vibra Slim machine to exercise along with our bone generator, Collagen Max, Mountain Mid Velvet, Micelle D3, Myco D2, and full vitamin K2 to rebuild the bone. And then, of course, slap the Lumen pad. And if you had a DEXA, DEXA, dual photon scan for your bone density, and it says, hey, you got an L4 vertebrae, left and right hip, a greater surgical neck weakness or decreased mineralization on the DEXA scan, that's where you put the Lumen pad. And you put it on NICO, NICO setting. And when you do that, and you put it on, let's say, an hour a day on each particular target area, and you're doing Vibra Slim, which I call Vibra Fit Exercises, not these crazy CrossFit, which are going to give you an injury, especially if you've got decreased bone density. You do not want major loading, like what I call major loading of your joints with extreme weights. So if you start to do extreme weights like CrossFit, when you go on a vibrational platform and you're using Lumen, what you do is you can multiply the actual physical weight, say it's 10 pounds, by 3.6 through the vibrational cycle on average, and that's the actual G-force for a fraction of a second that will stimulate the bone density, the collagen production, and the Golgi tendon apparatus, restore proprioception in your joints and tissues. To increase tensile strength of your connective tissues, bone mineralization, and collagen generation as a rebar backbone for your bone, lamellar bone mineralization by your osteoblasts. So Lumen pad's really cool. If you've got eye problems, and I tell people this, no matter what eye problem you have, whether it's glaucoma or stage 1 cataracts, our eye protocol is Lumen protocol. And it's real simple. You want to use Can-C eye drops, okay, Nutrifos, and Neurogen for remineralization in the optic nerve head. You want to stop glycation with ultrathymine B1. You want to protect the blood vessels with Vein-Away. You want to stop the free radicals with Cell Detox, Glutathione, Nutrichala, and Regenerex. And Vision Max is super important. So if you say, just give me the top 2 or 3, I'd say Vision Max, Silver 100, and Neurogen. And then, of course, super important is to turn off the inflammation and heal. And they've actually done experiments with animals where the Lumen pad can actually rescue the eye from damage and prevent blindness, even from a toxin that can be injected that actually causes 100% of cases to turn blind. So if you're getting early retinal problems, or if you've had a cataract, it means the anterior portion of your eye is inflamed, and you're getting glycation or cross-linking of the stroma of the lens in your eye, and you're getting opacification. When you start using a Lumen, you actually reverse that along with the Can-C eye drops and other free radical things like Cell Detox, Glutathione, and ultrathymine B1, etc.
And at the same time, when somebody's using it over their eyes, it's actually getting into their brain, increasing the circulation throughout the brain, helping the brain to function more efficiently, helping it to flush out.
And you use that along with our brain mag. And by the way, it's another one for the eyes, because a lot of time people don't realize they're getting what's called dysmyelination of the optic nerve head. Yeah. They're getting damage to the rods and cones at the back of the eye, and of course they're underneath the Bruch's membrane, which is why we use Vein Away and ellagic acid to restore the blood vessel wall strength and collagen max, because it's elastin in the Bruch's membrane that helps hold it all together there in collagen. Because everything's built on the collagen elastin backbone. In fact, if you want to code what's mostly code of the so-called musical or harmonic DNA in your cells and tissues, it's actually coding for the blueprint to how to build you. And then the alleles are activated. There's only 32,000 alleles for all different proteins, structural and enzymatic. But the Lumen Photon actually pumps the energy down through the cross-linked, across through the what's called the proline residues, called the proline residues of the amino acids along the collagen backbone, and it's the purol side group actually on the molecule actually transfers the biophotons. So the biophotons jump down it like a fiber optic super cable with the information of what's going on in the genes. So your collagen acts as a kind of like a fiber optic cable, and it's actually the light from the lumen that actually transits down there at the speed of light. And this is not just saltatory nerve conduction. We're talking about speed of light, biophoton energy transfer, and informational transfer. Interesting, eh?
I like that word, that harmonic therapy. Yes.
Yeah, it's basically what's called a harmonic containment, which is what Nogier discovered. Now, it's an interesting thing. Nogier was not only a scientist, he was an intuitive like me, so he was working on the scientific validation of the frequencies, but he also knew intuitively what they should be. And when he took his intuitive knowledge and went back to the lab to test it, he actually found he was always correct, which is kind of cool. It means we have an intuitive medical scientist who went back and validated in the lab that this is what will make the cells grow and regenerate and heal. So the carrier frequency. Yeah, well, I have intuitive gifts that are really pretty unusual, but I try to be scientifically valid. So, for example, I was talking to my scientist colleague, Michael Chen, and he's in the kind of the same category. He's a engineer scientist that has clinics in Shanghai, Hong Kong. They're setting them up in India, elsewhere. And the idea is to use multiple technologies like the 8D-LRS, QRMA, and other technologies. And then once you've got validation, then you can do CT scans, blood work, MRI scans, functional MRI, positron emission tomographic scans, etc. But Lumen is amazing technology, simple to use, non-toxic, painless, and not expensive. You just turn it on, and electricity is all you need. You don't even need to buy new pads. And Chris Jackson, I guess, one of the important things about VibraSlim, we talked about this in the last segment when we were talking about Lumen, is there's nothing like vibrational exercise. And I've actually worked out my own routines now, and I call it Vibra Fit. Do you like that term? That's capital V-I-B-R-A, and then capital letters fit. Not a CrossFit, but Vibra Fit. And I'll tell you why. Because during the exercise cycle, and I use the adjustable free weights that can adjust up to anywhere from 50 to 100 pounds in each weight, in each hand. And I typically right now I'm like the 30-pound weights, which is the kind of exercises I'm doing. I also have resistance bands from Body Elastics, and I have a gymnastic bar bolted to the ceilings through the joists, behind and above my vibrational machine, my VibraSlim. And what happens is that I like to do at least 20 minutes of exercise a day. If I break it up and do 10 minutes in the morning and again 10 in the afternoon, but at least 20, sometimes 30 minutes. If I'm really lucky, I get 30 minutes. And there's nothing like Vibra Fit. So you can have a lower weight, but you have the effect of 3.6 times the G-force for a fraction of the second. So you get all the benefits, but no danger of injury. So you're not lifting a 120-pound weight. You're lifting a 30-pound weight, which isn't going to, if you're doing curls or you're doing overhead exercises, you're not going to end up with that weight on your head and get injured like CrossFit. You're stimulating proprioception because you're getting massive stimulation of the position of the joints and muscles. So you're getting massive recruitments of all the A delta and C fibers, as well as the slow and fast twitch muscle fibers. You're stimulating increased connective tissue strength, stimulating bone density by compressing the piezoelectric crystals of your bone. You're stimulating the brain to release growth hormone and to change your set point to defend a lower weight. You're pumping your lymphatics better than anything else you can imagine. There's no other exercise maybe even better than, let's say, a trampoline or one of these mini trampolines that they have. So you can't compare it. So I tell people, no matter what other exercise you do Vibra Fit. Do you like that term for how to do that kind of exercise? Because I think it's phenomenal. This routine that I develop right now between the body elastic bands and the free weights is phenomenal. And as I say, after I finish my exercise today, I'm going to do Vibra Fit for probably 20 minutes to half an hour, then pop in my chamber and answer a bunch of consults and emails and arrange guests for the next few weeks. I can even write my book because I have Dropbox in there. I can go actually work on writing my book. I have 3 books actually in the work. The first one that has to come out is Dr. You. But Vibra Fit, what do you think of the term?
It's good. I like it.
And of course, the research again shows that it changes your set point, increases your bone density, strengthens your connective tissues, prevents injuries and falls, cuts falls by 80% in seniors with just 3 10-minute sessions over a month. So here's the places where they should have a Vibra Fit. If you're one of these big offices that has like 100 cubicles or 10 cubicles, whatever, you should have one by the water cooler in the bathroom. So you can get on there for 1 or 2 minutes while you take a break. It should be in every fitness room of every high school, university, because it's going to cut down injuries. If somebody like Gronkowski, who's like a monster of the Patriots, he got injured the year before last, and I guess he must have had better trainers this time, so he didn't blow his ACL. But if he hadn't been injured, he would have won the Super Bowl. Now, of course, they lost it this last year because of other issues and the deflated footballs and the other garbage that went on. But the fact is that, and a fluke, by the way, that I think it was a fluke. But he didn't blow it. In other words, he didn't blow his ACL. But the problem is he wasn't getting enough proprioceptive training. You can build up muscle strength. They discovered that most males will reach their peak muscle strength. This is the average in their mid-20s, but their peak connective tissue strength and bone density in their late 30s to early 40s. Okay? Not good. So if your muscles are real strong and your ligaments and connective tissues aren't strong, you're going to break something. You're going to tear your muscles off your bone. You're going to rupture a disc. You're going to do something bad to yourself because the connective tissues are not at their peak strength for another decade or more. And the VibraSlim changes that. So whether you're a movie star walking or dancing on the screen, on a stage in Las Vegas and you're trying to not slip, or you're a balance dancer, or you're a senior citizen just trying to dance down the hallway so you don't slip and fall going to the bathroom late at night, the Vibra Fit exercises are going to keep your bone density up, your connective tissue and proprioception. And if you're trying to lose weight, there's nothing better than using as one of your core things besides our weight loss nutraceuticals like glycemics and carbo block and lactose blocker and the diabetoline and leptin metabolic, etc., then Vibra Fit exercises. You can go to get some adjustable hand weights that you can get, and I think what are the ones you like, the adjustable hand weights? I've seen a couple of the different versions. There's one
the locking ones where you can change the weight.
Yeah, where you lock the weight to a certain weight, like 30 pounds, 50 pounds. Mine can go up to, I have 2 sets. One that goes to 50 pounds, another goes up to 100. Yeah. When you take the 100 ones, that means in each hand you got like 200 pounds total. And you take the G-force, you multiply by that by 3.6. So, believe it or not, each hand for a fraction of a second is 360 pounds. So between the two of them, you have a total G-force of 720 pounds in your hands.
Yeah, and without the worry of injury either, which is a great.
Without worry of injury, yeah. And the thing is, I like 30 pounds right now. I'm working my gradually way up. Eventually, I'll get up to around 100 pounds. And I used to be, back in university, a runner and a power lifter. And I was unusually strong, let's put it that way. And that's because I'm, of course, driven in everything I do. So I work out. When I was working on my biochemistry degree, I worked on the railway and worked out in the weight gym for a couple hours a day. And when you're young and foolish, you can get yourself injured pretty fast. If you don't want to get injured, whether you're a professional sports or a young person, you need to use Vibra Fit. It's going to increase proprioception. So even if you're a golfer and you say, well, I'm walking on an irregular surface and I twisted my ankle or I yanked my knee and now my knees are limping around, the Vibra Fit will prevent you, if you're doing squats and so on the vibrational machine, it'll prevent you from getting an injury while you're just golfing. Just walking on a funny, uneven surface. It improves that proprioception, doesn't it?
It does. There's nothing that'll get you in shape faster, build all those muscles that are hard to work, also works your major muscles like in your legs. Like you get on that machine and start doing the slow up and down squats.
And because of the vibration,
I have people that are detractors, and I said, hey, they come by and visit. I said, that looks like that's not exercise. I said, I'll tell you what. I'm not going to ask you to do 10 minutes or 20 minutes. I'm asking you to do 1 minute. And they look at me like, oh, come on, Deagle, you're a character. Get on it. I said, I'm not even going to give you any weights or tell you to pull on the bands. I said, all I want you to do is just try to squat. Just stand on one leg and stay balanced on one leg to improve proprioception. Just try to do anything. Just take the hand bands and try to just resist and do a resistance partial squat. And they go, oh, man, turn it off. Oh, I don't know if I can do this. My heart's racing like a rabbit. I feel like I'm going to faint. I said, that's because you're so far out of shape. You start doing this regularly, you're going to know this is going to... And by the way, it has a cardiac effect, which is interesting. People say, well, I go and I like the treadmill and I like to run and so on. Well, good. Do 20 minutes of this and go run for an hour. But what you'll find is you're running, you're not going to rip the heck out of your knees or joints or ligaments. And the running is going to go a lot easier, especially when you're running uphill. You're going to have the power, strength, and control. You can run properly uphill without tearing something or injuring yourself. So I tell people, no matter what else you do, this needs to be the core of your exercise, whether you're a golfer, a runner, a power lifter, a contact sport person, mixed martial arts, you're a senior citizen just trying to keep your strength so you can get out of the easy chair and go to the bathroom or go cook, or walk up and down stairs so you don't have to get one of those little stair climber deals in your house. It's always better for you as a senior to climb the stairs, not to get a stair climber. You know, this idea, oh, well, you can get a fancy stair climber. No, you get in a stair climber, you and stairs no longer are buddies. That part of the house is cut off unless your stair climber is operational. And that's not good, because you lose the quadriceps strength, you lose the balance, you lose the motor control and the bone density from gravitational exercise. That's why I call Vibra Fit Vitamin G. Take your vitamin G every day. This price, $12.99, including shipping, modular, and 3-year support contract is the best deal you can get. Comparable machines are $7,000 to $10,000. This is $12.99, including shipping, and it's modular, and you get great support right here in America. Not made in China. Check on our associate site.
Are you still looking for that one iodine that you can really trust? A medical doctor-endorsed product that is backed by honest research and true integrative science? Then search no further. Go to Nutrimedical.com for Dr. Bill Deagle's Nutriodine, proven time and time again to be the very best iodine available for you. Nutriodine is the only Tesla-activated monatomic plasma iodine in the world. It optimizes mitochondrial function and generation of new mitochondria, from totally neutralizing the venom from a desert recluse spider bite in Southern California to eliminating malaria parasites reported by medical missionaries in Central India. Dr. Bill's Nutriodine is simply the most powerful healing formula there is. Nutriodine clears the body of all known pathogens, restores it to an alkaline state, and even promotes stem cell regeneration. Order Dr. Bill's Nutriodine today at 888-212-8871 or visit us online at Nutrimedical.com.
In the U.S. alone, a home invasion occurs every 13 seconds. On top of that, the average response time for 911 is over 15 minutes. That just won't cut it. Don't allow yourself or the important people in your life to be victims. When seconds matter, don't be caught stumbling for your firearm. Get the protection you deserve. Get yourself a hidden holster from hiddenholster.com. It's the original hidden holster. The hidden holster is quick, easy, and convenient. It's versatile enough for the home, workplace, or virtually anywhere else you might need it. Have peace of mind with your firearm close by at all times. Go to hiddenholster.com. That's hiddenholster.com. If you own a firearm, you need a hidden holster. Your protection matters, and self-defense is the best defense. Go to hiddenholster.com. That's hiddenholster.com. The original hidden holster.
And welcome back to the Nutrimedical Report. Just want to update you on a couple of notices here. And by the way, all hours are call-in hours, 800-259-5791. And you'll notice we fixed our positions of our panels on our website. They were sliding around yesterday as we added more Nutrimedical associates. And if you're going to Nutrimedical.com, our other website is, by the way, clayandIron.com, CLAYANDIRON.com. I basically had it inactive the last few years. I'm reactivating it. You'll see all the news stories going over there, all this, the above government technology, all the special books, DVDs, and other materials, all the other information, anything related to nutrition, wellness, anti-aging will be at Nutrimedical, and all the other information is over at Clay and Iron. At the top, we have our NutriMeds line, which is dramatically expanded. You'll see there's a lot of new nutraceuticals. Our latest coming that we'll be adding is called NADH, nicotine adenine dinucleotide hydride. That married with the use of D-ribose and ALC-1000 literally is remarkable. D-ribose, ALC-1000 reverses immediately the effect of aging on cells and mitochondria. Our next on their panel is a 10% off code if you use the code NutriMed for pure water systems. We have the Bev 100 system countertop, Bev 200 tackle box, emergency base station, Bev 300 under-the-counter 5-gallon reserve tank, and the whole house systems. Those are the best systems. They're not comparable to anything else, Berkey or anything else out there, or the Energy Vampire systems that use distillation, which also carries out things like JPA jet fuel will actually show up on the other side of the distillate. So you need to be aware that these other technologies do not work. We have Dave and Jean Mitchell, and Dave's usually on Fridays with Jean. Hopefully she's quite a character, quite a personality. So Dave and Jean are going to be back on tomorrow. They're the best realtor brokers, I believe, here in probably the western United States, but they can help you move anywhere, even outside the country or anywhere else in the world, by interacting with other brokers, not just a realtor. And he's a genius at prepping. So they help us obtain our home and our studios here in Southern California 7 years ago, and they're fantastic people. So check them out. We have MG12, the amazing MG12 Amazing Healing Detox Minerals, magnesium and other trace minerals from the Dead Sea, topical cosmetics, etc. Micro Pulse, and of course Dr. Bob Dennis will be back on tomorrow. If you put in that code, Dr. Deagle, Dr. Deagle, you're going to save $30 off the $1,000 reduced price from the old Soma Pulse last year. This device is researched over 25 years at NASA for stem cell stimulation and for turning off pain. I literally use these devices all the time, my Soma Pulse and Micro Pulse. They're amazing. If you want to stimulate healing, turn off pain, and it works within minutes. You can slap it on your wrist if you got carpal tunnel syndrome, tendonitis, a sore knee. Wrap it on, turn it on, and leave it there. 9-volt rechargeable batteries. Amazing. We have links to the Ready store where people get ready. It's some of the top quality food, emergency equipment, and prepper supplies, and a lot of prepper training materials there, videos, etc. All available for you at the Ready store. We have Vibra Slim, which we have the link to the Vibra Slim system, and of course I'm going to be posting up articles on the Vibra Fit Exercise technology and the other equipment, which is really cheap. The body elastic bands are under $50 at Amazon. The bar you can use above and beyond, which is an athletic gymnastics bar above, bolted to the ceiling if you want to do that in their fitness room. And of course the free hand weights are easy to obtain too. They're adjustable and lock on their weight. We have a link to Less EMF, and there's a lot of new technologies available now at Less EMF. And I've been just looking at some of the things that are available now, and of course Emil de Toffel sent me the information earlier today about what's available now, and there's a lot of new technologies. So if you go to that link, you're going to see a lot of new announcements there. I'll be posting that up later today, although we missed Emil. He was probably so busy we couldn't catch him today, but we will get him next week to talk about some of these new technologies for measuring radiation, for blocking radiation, not only ultraviolet, electromagnetic, scalar, magnetic, and toxic radiation, for monitoring it, for emergencies, and for just knowing that, for example, the sun is toxic now during midday. So I tell people, don't go out in midday between 10 and 3, and you use a proper eye protection, hair protection, and clothing that blocks radiation. Don't use an SPF covering cream, because they all contain toxins, and the only ones that are relatively safe are ones containing things like titanium and other things like zinc, but you have to wash those off carefully. Really the best thing to do is just avoid the sun and wear proper clothing and hats and so on at that time of the day. Then looking over at our other parts of our panel, we have Jonathan Gray. His ebooks are all available there, a direct link. QRMA, and I just talked to Michael Chen, our engineer in China, who's coming in probably a couple of weeks with Dr. Wang. Their research team has been in India, working with Dr. Nemtsov and Metatron in Moscow at the Nonlinear Institute there that develops the technology for monitoring cosmonauts in space. This is an amazing diagnostic technology, and they have a whole range. So we use the QRMA, the 8D LRAS, and there are various levels of that device. We have the we call the entry-level device, the ATLRS. There's a more advanced version, right up to what I call the quintessential kind of top level that's used at big hospitals in these countries now. And we also have, of course, the PrepareWise foods, and we talked about this yesterday. It's the best Mylar, lowest oxygen content, no preservatives, non-GMO, long-term storage food with the largest portions and the best price. That's a PrepareWise, and I like them because it's the only company that has number 10 cans and has Mylar bags all independently packaged with the lowest oxygen content. So more entrees than any other company. So PrepareWise foods, they also have now expanded to include emergency and medical equipment, so they have that available. Lumen Photon, we have a direct link to our Lumen pages. Jurisdictionary, this is amazing. The Jurisdictionary course, you can actually become an affiliate of some of our companies. If you actually go to Jurisdictionary, you can become an affiliate and promote it as well. So you can actually obtain some money. For each system that you sell, you'll get $50 to recommend to someone else that they will. So that's pretty good. It's about 20% of the cost of the course, which is $250. The best prostate lighting and training course, which you can do on your iPad, iPhone, computer, and it's constantly updated with emails and so on. It's amazing. Professor James McCanney, we have all of the links to his latest books on astrophysics, energy, conspiracies, global agendas, and he also is a host of his own radio show. So that hyperlinks directly to a special subpage Dr. McCanney made for me for all of the promotion of that. So I've got a direct link over there for him. And by the way, we support many of our authors where we don't get a cent. We try to just direct you to them so that you can support what they're doing, including our great hosts like Jonathan Gray and his ebooks, and Professor McCanney. We just want to promote what they're doing, and we hope that it'll bless you. We have, of course, a link directly to my other website, Clay and Iron, exposes the truth on geopolitical, religious, science, history, and global issues. And there's a direct link over there. It's called Clay and Iron because it deals with the issue of clay and iron statue, the statue of Daniel, talking about the statues of the time of the end and the different parts of that clay and iron, which means the leg and feet and toes, which means the last kingdoms of the secular world. And then we have, of course, Ann Morrison's Science and End Times info blog, Twyland, Twyland, which, of course, she talks about the in-between land between the real world and the spiritual world and the place of truth and knowledge. And she's got an amazing blog there. We had one of our listeners who helped her dramatically and offered to help set up that blog, and I'm hoping that we will also be able to help Tim Alexander, who's working also in increasing his show presence. He's actually trying to be very professional with green screen and so on, and that'll be up on our live stream TV channel. And all the live stream TV shows, if you're a customer, they're all free. And the only time you have to buy a membership is if you're not planning on purchasing any products. You have to purchase a membership. Otherwise, if you purchase any product, you automatically get access to the passwords. I pay for it all, the live stream TV channel, the access to the radio archives, etc. You don't have to pay a membership. You just have to buy even one product in the last 6 months and you have access. So that's unlike any other show in any other network. We're providing that for you so there's no barriers to getting information, whether you're in Auckland, New Zealand, or South Africa, or in some third world country. You don't need to pay anything to get access to this information. And, of course, we're working on the book Dr. You, just to give you some of the principles of it. I'm going to weave together the very best of medicine and the best of nutraceutical and functional and genetic medicine. And when you get this book, whether you're a health professional or a grandmother taking care of yourself and your family, it will transform the way you look at medicine, the way you look at and what questions you ask your doctors or specialists or surgeons, the way you take care of your dog or cat or budgie bird, elephant, if you're a veterinarian in a zoo, the rainforest, whatever. It's going to change the way we look at everything. So hopefully, as I say, I can't change your mind, but I can change your perspective. After that, it's up to you. And as I say, the most important part is to ask better questions. Coming up in hour number 3, in just a couple minutes here, Tim Alexander and a major update report from Chris Harris. I spoke to our nuclear safety engineer, and I will be on, of course, the hour number 2 as a guest tonight on the Rents Network. Back in a couple minutes with hour number 3 with Tim Alexander.